Good morning, welcome back to Asgard, and today I want to show you how to automate Spanish moss. So Spanish moss is kind of unique in the way it works in comparison to a lot of other blocks. For example, if you have Spanish moss, you have to use shears to break it. So if we go into survival mode really quick, if I right click on Spanish moss, it does not break it. Whereas, normally you right click to use your shears on it. So that's one thing that's slightly different. Also, I have to break it with the shears. If I was to break it by hand, it just destroys it. So it's a little bit tricky in the way that you automate it due to those factors. But the best way to do that is autonomous activators. So what you would do is, set your autonomous activators up, and let's do like a line of them, for example. And one thing that I suggest doing with this is let's set, let me grab actually some energy conduits. Forgot to grab some of those. If you notice, my inventory is a mess, as always. But I've been messing with stuff a little bit. Actually, well, I guess it wouldn't matter, but just a little bit easier to see it. So we'll go along the back there, and we'll just set up a creative energy cell so that we have energy in this. And then what we'll do is we'll set up just like a little bit of an overhang here. And yeah, we'll go like that. And then we'll plant our Spanish moss here. And of course, as this grows, it's going to drop down in front of the autonomous activators. Now, this does take a little bit to grow, and you can't bone meal it. Also, watering can doesn't work on it. It's kind of tricky to mess with in some ways. But let's go ahead and set all of these to input from the back. And there we go. Now, you could make this taller and have like a big wall of a big line. Another thing that you could do is separate it so you have like autonomous activators here and then another row. That's how I've done it in the past. But you see, this one just grew. And what we'll do is we'll set this up with some item conduits so that we can input through the back. And we'll set all of these to insert. And then you're going to have to keep shears in these. And the way that I suggest doing that is using an export bus with a crafting card. However, before we do that, first off, let's set all the autonomous activators to use left click. And then we also want to set it to first slot only. And let's just put some cobblestone in the rest of these slots so that it doesn't make shears and try to fill all of these slots up with shears, because it's just kind of a waste. So we'll set all of these, there we go, set all of these up, and first slot only, left click, first slot only, click, first slot only. And also another thing worth mentioning, your autonomous activators are not, oops, probably should have done that first, huh? Alright, so there we go. We've got all of these set now, and I guess, yeah, it already broke that because it didn't have shears. And now the next thing we're going to do is let's set up a mini chest right here. This is just from extra utilities. Generally, you're going to have extra utilities in your pack. If not, there's other ways around it. You could set up a chest with only one slot open, cobblestone, filling all the rest of the slots, and set this to only extract cobblestone. There's a lot of ways that you could do it. But this is the way I like to do it, is I like to set an export bus onto this chest, and then just connect it up here. And then we're going to give this a crafting card and tell it to make shears. Well, let's see. Let me just grab a fresh pair. And there we go. And then let's really quickly, let's tell our system how to make shears. So let me grab some iron. And there we go. And where's my... oh yeah, right over here. Couldn't remember where I had my interfaces on this system. I've got systems all over this area, as you can tell. So what's going to happen is this is going to make shears for this mini chest. And this mini chest is immediately going to send these shears out. Set that to always active. So it's going to start sending these shears out. And it'll take a second, I guess, to craft that. Is it not requesting? Should be. Unless something... okay, it is. It's just taking it a minute. Taking it longer than expected to craft. There we go. Okay. So now, you know, it's feeding all of these shears, and it's only putting them into the first slot, and then this mini chest is filling up with just one pair of shears. So now all of these have shears, and then the next thing that we're going to want to do is let's grab ourselves just really quickly. Let's get some kind of a vacuum chest, vacuum hopper, that kind of thing. And we're going to set this up, you know, around the middle of our setup, or we could actually set it here on the end. That would work as well, or the top. Maybe the top. Yeah, we'll do the top. And then we'll just set this up with an import bus. So let's grab one of those. And hook that up. Because when these get sheared, they're just going to fall to the ground. So we're going to want a way to bring these back into the system. So now if I was to get Spanish moss, I'm just going to plant some because it does take it a minute to plant. Now if you notice, it's breaking those, and they're getting sucked up by the vacuum chest. And this is not because I used it. Damn it. I used an export bus. Import bus. There we go. So now we're importing the Spanish moss into our system. There we go. It took it a second for that to come online. And so now that's automated. Now if you set this up, especially if you want to set it up for the system that I showed in a previous video, where you can automate death protection poppets, or poppets in general, depending, really you shouldn't die that much that you would need that much Spanish moss coming in. But if you expect to die a lot, or if you just want the safety net of having a lot of Spanish moss, you could always build this bigger, you know, as big as you want to, because either way you're still only using 2 channels. And if you made this so big that you need multiple vacuum chests, of course you can just link these together with item conduits. It's no big deal. There we go. One just grew and got broken. And what's going to happen is anytime that these shears, you know, break, it's going to automatically craft a new pair and fill these autonomous activators. So now we have Spanish moss. Ugh, I cannot talk today. We have Spanish moss easily automated, you know, and coming into our system. Alright, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, as always, please comment, like, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and I hope it helps for any of you that have been asking about how to automate Spanish moss. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And as always, do take care, and I hope to see you guys next time.